Howdy guys, Buckley here one more time this week from GuitarGeek.com. Talk about ways that you can add to your story. You can add to your lead, that you can become a more expressive player instead of in different ways. So not just focusing on new notes, chords, scales, blah, 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 blah. Like how you actually play the thing. Now, everybody focuses on dynamics, hopefully, right? You try to be loud places and soft places. But I think that something a lot of people don't do as an exercise is to figure out what the real length is. Like, what is the minimum to where, you know, that you can still hear something that resembles a rhythm, you know, and a note. You know, you're making some type of noise, but it's like barely audible. And on the other side, you're right before you break the strings off your guitar, right? And it's different for each guitar, and it's different for each rig, like what amp and pedals and everything that you have going through it. And so, you know, this is one of those things where, like, if you get used to one rig, you get used to one guitar, you kind of do this naturally. But if you have a bunch of different guitars, I think it's important to try this exercise also, just because you'll realize how big of a difference it is. And you'll realize how many different guitars have natural, different, like, organic compression points, you know, however you want to say that nonsense. Point being that you want to know the minimum and the maximum. So here's what you do. The minimum, right, generally speaking, you know, the fingers are softer than the pick is. So you're always going to be able to get as soft as possible with your fingers. Your fingers can get softer than the pick can, even with little thin picks that barely touch the string just because of skin versus some Tortex plastic thing, right? So what I want you to do is put the guitar volume all the way up. Pick a clean sound. You can put a little gain on it, you know, something on it just so you got something happening, right? But you want to have it all the way up. You're not going to touch it. You're not going to touch the guitar. You're not going to touch the amp. Grab anything. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm grabbing this little piece of G7 here. Right? And so I'm just playing the notes on the 4th and 3rd string, on the 3rd and 4th fret, respectively. And I'm just, again, this is a little piece of hybrid picking, but I'm just going to use my fingers, and I'm just going to do, basically, I'm going to start at as loud as I possibly can, where I'm picking the strings up with my fingers, if you can see that. Like, I'm way above and just smacking it down. Almost broke, right? That's basically your ceiling, right? And you want to go all the way down to... If you notice, when you go all the way down there, I'm basically just lifting fingers up and putting them back down. You can hear something. You can barely keep a rhythm down there. You can barely hear what tone it is, but you're getting something. That's your min, and that's your max. And you might be wondering, well, where would I use this? Well, it's just like knowing all your different scales and chords and stuff. Sometimes you want to be like super whisper quiet, and sometimes you want to really be screaming. And I feel like it's easy to forget. There are some people feel like they don't want to dig in too hard on their guitar because they might break the strings on the gig, and that's not good, but that's why you bring 2 guitars to gigs. Or they might hurt their guitar or something like that, but they also don't want to go too soft because they feel they might lose the rhythm, which is why you should play with people that can go really soft as well. You don't feel like you always have to maintain that drive in your guitar playing. A good example that we do this in our band is doing Lagrange, ZZ Top. So I generally start this tune real soft, and I do it because no one else does. Everybody does it real loud. Everybody comes in with a right? But I like to save that. I like to very much save that and just start with the add in a little bit in there. And then when the whole band kicks in, then you have all of it. And especially when you're in trio scenarios, or when it's like a little light part like that with drums and bass kind of just holding a groove, it's good to know where your floor is. And it's also good to know that if you start at that floor, like in this song in particular, and you go to take a lead, and it's that whole like, that where the point is that you're going to break your string, right? It's not a bad exercise to see if you can't break some strings on your guitar. I know it's expensive and annoying, but it's good to know where that line is. Where's the top? Where's the bottom? Good luck.